Welcome back everyone. The Samsung Galaxy S10 came out back in 2019 and it was honestly one of my favorite phones that have ever came out. I love this phone a lot and we're going to take a look at it in the later part of 2021. Now there have been some things that changed here and there, specifically with the phone landscape since my early 2021 review of this thing, and some of those things are the next Android version came out, Android 12, which this phone will get. I have not installed the beta yet, but we do have that supported on this device, which is cool. On top of that, the new iPhones came out, the new Google Pixels came out, and I compared this phone against all the iPhones, against all the Pixels, and I am still surprised how great of a phone this specific device is. To give you some perspective, the Samsung Galaxy S10 was keeping up in terms of speed with my iPhone 13 and was beating it in some cases, and even with my Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, it was keeping up with those devices as well. So those are some massive improvements that we're getting on this device, and that makes me so happy with this device. I love it a lot, and that's not even touching the body of this thing. I mean, this thing has a beautiful 6.1-inch dynamic AMOLED display, 1440p hole punch display, fingerprint sensor in the display. It really does have everything you'd ever want on a phone. The only problem is that it is at 60 Hz, so there's no 120 Hz or 90 Hz on this thing, but it's totally okay. The Galaxy S20 ended up bringing that, but this still looks very good, and I love the design of this phone for sure. Now there are three things that are awesome with this phone: the display, the build quality, and also the fact that it has the headphone jack and microSD card slot experience built in straight into this phone. It is beautiful. You have that headphone jack, you have USB Type-C, which is awesome, and you have a microSD card slot, which is so good on this phone. So I'm very happy this phone has it, and it's easily one of my favorite things about this device for sure. Now we do have reverse wireless charging and wireless charging on the back of this phone, and we do have a triple camera setup. Now this camera is still very good. You have 4K at 60 on the front and the back, and you have that triple camera setup, so you have the wide telephoto and ultra wide sensor. If you guys remember, like when this phone first came out, I compared it against all the other iPhones and Androids back in 2019, and since then I've been comparing it to every set of phones that have came out, and it's still such a good performing phone in so many different areas. It's wild to me how great of a phone Samsung made at the time and how well it still performs. So in my opinion, the build quality, perfect. The screen is still really good, but the camera on this thing is also very, very good as well. So you're really not going to be disappointed there. Now, the only area where I'm kind of disappointed in a little bit is the software. As some of you may know, I wasn't a fan of One UI. I'm still not a fan of One UI, and Samsung did increase the longevity of this phone, so that's great. But now Google increased the longevity of their phones too. So I would love to have seen the Samsung Galaxy S10 get stock Android, which is never going to happen. But I would also love to see it if it ever got, the next version of Android on top of Android 12, so Android 13. Don't know if it's ever going to happen, but it would be cool if we got it. Now on top of that, I think the software is good enough for the most part. It still lacks it actually has a ton of features built in, but compared to iOS and Pixel, I love stock versions of software, and I'm not a fan of bloatware, but it is what it is. What are you going to do about it? Now another big thing to keep in mind about this specific phone is actually with the performance. It's still a very good performing machine. I mean, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 chipset, you can get up to 8 gigs of RAM on this thing too, and I think it's a very good performing phone for the most part. Is it perfect? No, it's not as smooth and it's kind of glitchy compared to some other devices, but I think the Galaxy S10 still is a very good performing phone, and the battery life is still very good too. So I will get into way more details in 2 months when I do my 2022 review of this phone, but I think it's still a very good phone for sure, and if you have it, I would highly recommend keeping it. I just wish it had stock software. Other than that, I think this is a beautiful phone, and I'm very, very happy with it for sure. So in terms of that covers it up here. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that means so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.